so much pressure, so much at stake. You want to succeed. No one wants to walk away with very little, if not nothing, at the end of this. Are you willing to try something new at this point? We must get the win.
We're hitting the final stretch to get towards champs. Look how close it is! They've got nowhere to run! And that might be the moment that decides this game.
Absolutely perfect.
We got one event next week, and then we got champs coming up.
God, this is insane.
What a round!
We're so close to the end of the season. You know, this is the event. And then boom, playoffs and champs.
Can they clutch up and go big? You gotta go! Major Maniac with the play! What a play from Sip! Cillian goes huge. Abeezy! Lightning strikes twice! What an individual play from Priest. That is sensational from OpTic. Kenny lighting it up at range.
Absolutely ripping his way through those players. The kills just don't stop for Dashi.
OpTic Gaming have done it. And it's Slasher. And suddenly the sweep comes in from OpTic.
TJ, the shots, he's only gone and got it.
The point of entry on defense is going to be 0. He's the one playing sneaky out towards the back. And oh my god, there are just a legion of players here. Peekaboo, I'm here. I've been here the whole time.
30 seconds left, Empire get the win. There's 50 on the clock. You got to make sure for 20 seconds Dallas is either out or you are in this hill. The smokes are there. Illy from the flank there was able to find the first.
Oh, Illy finds 2, 3 for Illy. He could find a 4th, 4 in a row. That could well be the map. He knows where the spawners are coming from. Illy is disgusted right now. 5, 6. He's still alive. Illy. This is absurd from the young man. He can nade himself right now because he's going to be the only person that can bring himself down at this point in time.
And is looking to be just as influential in this domination. Rockstead Silence shuts down Zed. 9-0, make it 10-0 for Scraps, and he finds the 11th as well. 11 kills to start off this game, and 11 kills that are causing problems. Make it 12. Can he make it 13?
Been phenomenal in S&D his entire career.
OpTic Gaming, again, it's a very recent team change. We haven't quite got those graphics yet, as Havoc finds his 2nd kill of the round. He's got that Dead Silence activated. 1, 2, eyes all over them. Havoc!
Oh, and he's going to know he's up top as well. Here's gets the ace, baby.
Oh, and it's going to be a bit of a mess. Hollow's already on the bomb site. Is he going to be able to get the arm? Quavo wins his fight on the outside. Hollow wins one on the bomb site, so now it comes to Octane alone. Bomb goes down, Octane! Nice shots! He gets the second. 13 seconds left. Draza's got to go for the arm. Quavo could cover him. And here comes the bomb. Can Octane do the unthinkable? Octane, unbelievable shots from the young man. Now in the 1 versus 4. Is he going to be able to get this one? LaRue with a knife! He gets it! With the knife. And you may as well do a victory lap. What a stunning round from Octane.
Greetings, friends, and welcome to the Call of Duty Toronto home series. It is the final day of the regular season, and it has never been more intense as we just got to witness the Toronto Ultra taking down the Empire as they've now got the 8th seed locked in for now. Atlanta currently with the 1st, and boy, do we have a lot of interesting stuff to dive into. I'm Lando, and joining me is Studdy as we have our second semifinal lined up and ready to go. As we've already referenced it, it is the Atlanta FaZe facing off against OpTic Gaming Los Angeles. Studdy, it's going to be a fantastic one. Of course, we'll get ready to pull up our Game Fuel keys to victory, as like we said, this one is set to be a fantastic series, a lot on the line. But Stud, walk me through the keys to victory here for Atlanta.
Yeah, so the keys to victory, the Tiny Terror duo needs to keep up that aggression. You saw them all throughout the entire weekend just being dominant in every single game mode. Overall KDs for both of them, 1.36 for Simp, 1.27 for Abizi. First and second, they are the best 2 players so far to be playing in this tournament, and they're on the same team. As long as they're able to keep that up, Atlanta FaZe just staying consistent in every game mode, they should be fine throughout this series.
Yeah, man, Tiny Terrors are definitely starting to turn up toward the end of the season, and they're starting to do it in pretty much what similar fashion to we saw last year. But let's go and talk about OGLA. Study keys to victory now for OpTic.
Yeah, Slasher and Hollow need to frustrate ATL's SMGs. You know, we just talked about the KDs on the opposite side for FaZe. That's unbelievable. The battle versus Chicago was won with the 2 respawns. You see Slasher shitting out at 1.12, Hollow at a 1.16. That was such a dominant series that they put on versus the Huntsmen yesterday. You know, ended up losing that first map on Azir Cave, but they brought it back, and it was if they didn't have such a slow start in the beginning, it probably would have went in their favor and turned out to be a 3-0. But dude, this match is going to be everything. With Toronto winning that previous match, OpTic's backs are against the wall, currently sitting with the 9th seed. They need to bring it all in this series right here.
Oh, man, it's going to be a blast. All right, let's go and hop into our predictions now for this series. We're getting right into things, folks. It's what you love to see. But Study, predictions brought to you by Sony's Xperia smartphone. Let me know. You going OGLA? You going FaZe? Where's your head at right now?
I know I want to see the battle between Toronto and OpTic, but I'm definitely going to go FaZe in a 3-1. I just said the way that they dominated the Empire yesterday in that 3-0, even though every map was basically close as hell, and Simp and Abizi were just dominant the entire time. But now they're going up against OpTic Gaming, a team that was fairly new, you know, with the Draza and Hollow pickups. We saw them dominate versus the Huntsmen yesterday, but I just feel like Atlanta is just an unbelievable team, probably the best team in the game.
It's definitely fair to say that, man. In terms of my prediction, I'm right there with you, right? The duo is living on. We got the same predictions. I'm also saying FaZe win this one 3-1. Like I said, I like OGLA. I like the story that we're trying to build right now, but for me, it kind of comes down to that game 1 hard point. If they can instantly start to kind of cause some chaos the same way that Ultra did versus the Empire, I like their chances. But as you've talked about it, FaZe, they're kind of in that conversation now as we just saw the Empire lose. Best team in the world. That happens now a lot, to say the least, is on the line for this series. It is going to be an absolute blast. As what we were kind of in the green room before this one, Study, about all of us kind of talking back and forth, saying like, can the Ultra do this? Is this really possible? And now the question kind of remains for OGLA. Can they also cause the upset, as we have to discuss it, right? If OpTic does, in fact, win this series, they take back the 8th seed, but then they will battle Toronto for who can kind of make it into the winner's bracket for champs. Like we said, top 8 currently kind of in that conversation. Atlanta FaZe, though, you're kind of feeling good, right? With that Empire loss, they lock in the number 1 seed. As like we said, Study, it's time to hop on in Hardpoint St. Petro for game number 1. And oh boy, who are you looking at first?
I'm definitely going to look at Sip. You know, this is the #1 KD throughout the entire weekend. Now, if you're looking at records for both teams, you have Atlanta, who are sitting at 8-3 on this map, versus OGLA, who are 2-1. And fairly, I'm pretty sure Atlanta are in a head-to-head series versus this team, up 2-0, but that is without Hollow and Draza. So, if anything on the side of OpTic are going to come alive, they need to bring it all right here, because this match is everything that they've been fighting for the entire season.
Definitely all on the line, and you're looking at young guys like Draza, Hollow to kind of be the big difference makers. Is they've kind of been that, right? We've been having that discussion pretty much since the start of this team, really back in London, was, hey, the kind of the top guys, if you will, the guys who are kind of leading in slaying are actually the new guns, right? It's the rookies. Hollow and Draza leading the way in slaying. They're doing the exact same thing so far throughout this event, as Hollow is picking up pretty well from where he left off last series. But in the midst of all this fantastic beginnings from OGLA, it's FaZe who actually do take control over Cafe Spawn.
This is great. OpTic's opening up at least a 40-point lead going into that P2. Oh, that second hard point. But you see that number 7 player, which is going to be TJ, in a sneaky position here. Is he going to be able to influence the spawns for his team, at least pick up a couple kills, or just playing this corner properly? Him playing his life back kitchen right here. Is he going to be able to come out this corner and turn left? Just taking his time, not rushing. He sees all the kills are going back and forth, just trying to stall enough time for his teammates to get close enough.
And what great timing that is for OpTic, as you see them starting to fill up the feed. TJ's patience is going to pay off, as now they take control back over Cafe. Priesta now has the M4 in hand, as that's been kind of the primary talking point on the Atlanta FaZe is the role change for someone like Priesta. He and Major Maniac now, the primary M4s on this team, and Priesta has been lining it up all event long. Cell now back on the SMG. He tries to run onside the hill. He gets cut down. In the meantime, it's going to be Atlanta FaZe setting up for P3, but really kind of study. It comes down to TJ's patience that gives OpTic another hill.
Yeah. TJ just played that absolutely perfect. They were able to chain that first hard point with 40 seconds. TJ with that sneaky position in the back, playing that back kitchen. Like I said, stalled enough time for his teammates to eventually regroup and get closer towards that hard point. Gives them a little more of a lead going into this P3, especially trying to break it in from the front. You see the aggression from FaZe sitting around mid-map, just trying to trade out the kills properly to make sure this hill is uncontested.
And you see FaZe kind of in the midst of the spawns they get are actually kind of setting up for next. So we got 30 seconds left. OGLA finally walk through the front door of Hazmat, but they get met with a few shots. They get met with some explosives in the meantime. And look at those spawns. FaZe is kind of forward thinking. Will grant them the future when we talk about pool hall. No mind Hazmat, as OGLA are happy to grab these points. But you have to consider FaZe's map positioning study. You like what they did there?
Yeah, Celium, there was one play that was pushing around through P1. TJ ended up finding him, and I'm pretty sure with Sim taking him down in the gunfight. TJ played a little bit too aggressive towards mid-map, forced a 1v1 versus Celium. Celium ended up getting that win, forcing his teammates to spawn behind him. They chained 4 kills together, flipping the spawns for OpTic Gaming. Now you're going to see Atlanta FaZe with the probable spawns onto this pool hall, just building that clock. With only 45 seconds remaining, they should be able to take a lead if they have a great setup here.
And Draza's trying to make the difference. He's trying to be that key player as he gets cut down through tracks. As we talk about FaZe's ability to rotate, it's been electric, but nonetheless, OGLA, they're the ones who are grabbing a majority of these points, but that lead starting to dissipate as Atlanta FaZe will reclaim over the lead, as they are wiping away OGLA throughout every single portion of the map. As pool hall is theirs, we set up for next, and it's going to be at the restaurant. Celium losing some fights early, but that's no mind as Major Maniac, he realizes the floor is his, the opportunity is his. A 14-5 start for a guy who's been fantastic in Search and Destroy. He's trying to light it up in the respawns as well, but OGLA, they overwhelm him and they reclaim control.
Yeah, that kind of got out of hand right there. I thought OGLA had that early rotation and they lost a couple gunfights. You saw Major Maniac come through that middle side by Lions, ended up picking up a 2-piece, wasn't able to get the 3. OGLA just flooded him out, and they're hopefully going to be able to get a lead switch here. But so far, so good for the OGLA, because the way that FaZe was playing in the beginning, with the early rotations, you know, TJ with the big heads-up play for that P2, the score could be totally different now.
I feel like that's kind of made the majority of the difference. We've been kind of highlighting FaZe a lot, talking about their rotations, how great that they've done. But that P2 hill definitely, I think it's fair, kind of set the tone for the rest of these hills throughout the first set of rotations. As FaZe, with 10 seconds left, will call restaurant theirs. But now we reset back toward middle. And I gotta say, Studdy, impressive stuff from OpTic up to this point in terms of Slayers. We talked about TJ needing to step up, Slasher kind of needing to be there alongside guys like Draza and Hollow, and they've answered the call so far.
Yeah, I'm loving I'm loving Draza right now. Currently sitting at 18 and 14, leading the slaying department for his roster. You know he wants this opportunity. He's so glad to be in the position that he's in. He's going to give it all in this match, and it's definitely showing.
It's kind of fun to talk about as well, but there were two kind of young guys who started to light it up at the end of the season last year in Black Ops 4, Simp and Abizi. Kind of a similar situation to Hollow and Draza in terms of kind of lighting it up for a roster, trying to make some major impacts towards the end of the season. As trades back and forth, Atlanta FaZe will again retake the lead, as we've had a number of different lead changes, but nonetheless they are set up ready to rock for next, as Priest is trying to do some damage toward the outskirts, but the M4's taking a look down at the street. As OG, they're relying on smokes just to try to hop inside the hard point.
Yeah, you saw Atlanta FaZe just contesting that P1 hard point down to the wire, eventually winning all those gunfights and holding the spawns, going for the P2 hard point. Now that number one player, Major Maniac, is a big gunfight in the back, able to take down Slasher. Hopefully now going to be able to secure the spawns for his roster. No time is going in favor of any team. They know kills need to be coming in. You see Hollow put himself in a great position to watch that cross from Pool Hall, trying to pick up a couple extra kills. But Atlanta FaZe, they played this beautifully, man. They ended up fighting that first P1 hard point, where at least to get at least 30 to 25 seconds on that, and had the rotations towards second. So now the lead is starting to build for Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, the breaking from FaZe has been solid up to this point. As we talk about the slaying kind of differential, FaZe yet to lose a map at this tournament, Study. Yeah. They are a perfect 6-0, coming off a victory versus Minnesota, a big 3-0 yesterday versus the Empire, in which every map was close, but nonetheless they have been flawless up to this point, and hoping to kind of keep up that same level of play, as we see Celium playing incredibly well right now for FaZe. What, 23 and 17? It's kind of an odd event for him so far, Study. He's got like a 0.83 KD coming into today. We talked about the role change with him and Priesta, pretty much flipping stats as well. If you see Celium lining it up in the respawns, that should be all around positive for FaZe.
Yeah, Celium is an MVP on the season for a reason. He's able to do it with any gun. He's so confident in all his positioning, the way he plays the game, hitting the proper slide cancels when he needs to, putting himself in a great positions to always give himself the advantage in those gunfights. You're going to see the time go in favor of OGLA here. Hopefully going to be able to take the lead, but this is where it's going to get scary, because last time FaZe rotated towards that P4, they did a great job at trapping him here and then back in the back of Hazard building and picking up a full 60 on that Pool Hall.
That's a great call, as OGLA sending a few scouts out, as they've by no means got preferred map positioning, starting on one side of St. Petro and having to get to the other end. As the jaunt is forward, the spread is in, and we'll see what OpTic can do. Water side somewhat clear. Now it's about coming through from alley. And Draza, he's been trying to make his way up through mid-street, finally gets the chance. Can he come in on the flank? Unfortunately, closed at the door, as Atlanta FaZe look to distance themselves here at Pool Hall. Hollow as well getting cut down, and Major Maniac, that's going to be 4 in a row for him. FaZe setting up shop, even thinking about the future as well, and what a net positive this is going to be for Major Maniac. If he can walk away with this fight, it'll be a Beezy on the trade. He actually loses that, so at the very least, if you are OGLA, you're set up for next, but take a look at that massive advantage that FaZe are going to have coming into next, as they're only going to be a few points away from locking this one up, Study.
Yeah, once again, FaZe had a flawless hold right there on that Pool Hall hill. Once again, getting another 60 points. Now only 8 points away. OpTic Gaming need to play perfect from here on out, getting all the kills that they possibly can. They can win off of this hard point as well. But as I say, the slaying department just needs to step up a little bit for OGLA to be able to close out this game. BZ's going to be able to jump into this hard point, take down one, try to stay alive. It's just going to a contest hill right now. Atlanta FaZe don't really have to do anything but stay alive in this hard point, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Exactly what they're doing. Time's starting to tick away. Someone has to jump in for OGLA, but they're getting cleaned up at the door. A few more seconds. Here comes the smoke, but OpTic, they start to break in. Simp comes out with the nade, and he manages to take down one. Unfortunately, it's going to be on his teammate, but OpTic, they break it just the right time. But here's Priesta, finds the first, can't find the second, and it looks as if FaZe, enough of a spread as they pretty much, toward the ending stages, will just, at the last second, hold on to this game as they'll win this one 250 to, what was it, 207. A very, very close game down the stretch. A solid opportunity from OGLA, but nonetheless, it is FaZe who walk away as victors.
Yeah, it all comes down to that pool hall hard point. They just were able to hold a full 120 seconds on 2 rotations of hard points there from the Atlanta FaZe. OpTic Gaming couldn't chain a couple kills together to try to break around that back, and they only lost by 43 points. And if you look at it, like I said, with that P4, they got 120. It'd be a totally different game if they were rotated a little earlier to that hard point, or even if they were able to win a couple gunfights to try to break it.
And we were kind of having this talk on, you know, Major Maniac, Cellium by no means having the greatest performances, at least in terms of respawns, hardpoint specifically, and they are 2 of the guys who end up leading the way here for FaZe. And that's kind of the scariest thing about this Atlanta lineup study is that, you know, we talk about this kind of role transition of Priesta kind of for Cellium in terms of N4 to SMG. It's not as if, like, I mean, we've seen a little bit of an impact, but it's just so scary that these guys can kind of quickly switch around roles, and you see the immediate impact it has. Atlanta FaZe, to say the least, are an absolutely star-studded lineup all across the board.
Yeah, I remember last year when Priesta ended up joining 100 Thieves in Black Ops 4. He did it all. He ran a submachine gun, ran an AR, and he's just really comfortable in being that flex role. Seeing him with that AR is like seeing him last year. He's just dominant. An overall amazing player, able to do it all on the map, and that's what's so good about Atlanta FaZe. They do not have any weaknesses. If one player isn't playing well, there's always going to be that next player that steps up, and you see right there, Priesta and Cellium had an unbelievable first map.
Yeah, we talk about this next search and destroy. It's definitely going to be interesting as we see the U.S. Air Force quick scope. But what, 15-19 in terms of OGLA, 28-14 for the Atlanta FaZe. As S&D is kind of in their playground. Obviously, we talked about hardpoint, we talked about a number of different things, but this next search and destroy, it's going to be massive study. I mean, like I said, we see Atlanta FaZe, if they go up 2-0, if you're OpTic at that point, it's going to be rough. As we've got a little bit of a St. Petro party. We're going to see it for every single mode that we possibly can. But FaZe as well, St. Petro, search and destroy specifically, they've been great on this map in terms of kind of throughout the season, 5-2 record on it. But do you kind of share the same sentiments here? If FaZe can walk away with the search and destroy, it could in fact be looking very grim for OGLA, a young team specifically.
Yeah, yesterday OGLA went undefeated in their search and destroys. They ended up winning 3 out of 3 in both of their series that they needed to, and that was usually their bounce back mode. You saw them yesterday start 0-1 versus the Huntsmen in a crazy first map, but then winning that search and destroy second, started chaining that momentum to lead on throughout the series. Now, if they do end up losing this search and destroy, it's going to be a really hard task to climb. You know, you have Simp on the opposite side. That's going to be that deadly sniper. And I know Slasher, for some reason, he's always at the end of that scope. Simp's here, like, say hello to my little friend, you know? Like, with the sniper, he's going to be putting on an absolute clinic. But yesterday, Kenny and TJ were stepping up so huge when it came to mid-round adjustments. Hopefully, they can take that into today as well.
Yeah, we saw what OGLA, when they were facing off against Chicago in that Ramaza search and destroy, TJ walks away with 4 insane kills to close out the round 11. And in terms of kind of stats for OGLA so far throughout their tournament in search and destroy, it's kind of been the Draza show, right? A 1.42 KD coming into this. I know what Cammy was kind of leading the way for the Toronto Ultra when we talked about that particular series. He had like a 2.2 something. It was absolutely unreal. But Draza has had somewhat of a similar impact for this OpTic team, as you know, granted, not necessarily the overall greatest record kind of throughout the weekend as they've gone 2-2, but this is their opportunity, right? We've kind of called it out. We've mentioned in terms of the veterans that kind of need to step it up, and if they can have kind of a collaborative team effort, we could in fact see them walk away with this search and destroy. But obviously the talking is nice. It's time to go and put your money where your mouth is if you are OGLA as we settle in here for some good old St. Petro game number 2.
A lot of OGLA search and destroy relies on, to me at least, is Slasher with his island plays. He's always going for that late flank, always putting himself in a position to play that clutch if it's needed, or to just be a nuisance on the map, flanking around the Atlanta players. But now we're just talking about Atlanta and the pressure that they are able to provide with the unbelievable sub work that they have in Sip and the Beezy, the tiny terrorists. It's going to be a really difficult task for OGLA here.
I called out Ope, my Midwestern side showing it, but looks as if the bomb, unfortunately, the back of the map, hollow, no big deal. You know what? I'll go and take down the first. Draza quickly hits the rewind button. That's going to be 2 in a row already. Celium, thankfully, as he'll begin to fade back, finds the headshot onto Kenny. As OGLA are desperately trying to walk through this bomb site. Simp is here, though. The crack of the sniper already beginning to echo throughout the site as OGLA have some thinking to do. They've got Hollow on the outside. TJ and Slasher to try to do the work.
Look at that number 9
Simp
and Hollow.
still with that sniper.
Hollow might get good time
Hollow on the back end. Hollow on the back end. Simp up close with a pistol, and Slasher makes him pay instantly. Celium left in a 1 versus 3 as they are sprinting over to the site. Celium tries to make his way through the door, and OGLA making the best out of a bad situation.
So I was talking about Slasher playing that island role. He decided that round to just play with his team. He ended up getting 4 on that round, and that's what you want out of your captain, to be able to set the tone in that first round, saying, hey guys, we can bounce back 1 round at a time, because this is all for OpTic right here. OpTic needs to be able to win this map, and that's a great opening round from Slasher.
What you want to see. And of good old Austin Litigoat. 4 to start. It's kind of been the keys to victory throughout the event. Slasher, TJ stepping up and search and destroy at the very least, doing it in the first round. As we'll say goodnight to TJ. A little bit of a headache after this early engagement as FaZe playing it somewhat slow, trying to get rid of a few of the trophies that are finding themselves placed. As OpTic are trying to mitigate any of that utility that tries to get dropped, but FaZe still looking for picks, and OpTic not giving him anything, Steady.
Yeah, OpTic's just playing this nice and slow. They know that they have basically everything cut off. That number 6 player is in such a huge position. He's going to be mid-map. He's going to be spotted. That 1 player, number 4, which is going to be Priesta, pushing around Water Street. He might have a huge opening if he's just going to decide to hit right up. Celium's going to be able to take down Quavo, now force it into a 4v3 situation. And it's looking like it's going to be a hit towards B. Number 9, which is Hollow, is going to have to go big. Oh, my.
Simp. How's that for a sniper kill as Priesta able to find the crucial 1v1 as now Draza left all by himself as we'll be hearing about that sniper shot for a while. Atlanta FaZe, they managed to get on the board.
The boom stick out of Simp. Hitting a beautiful shot there. I'm pretty sure that Atlanta FaZe opened up with that first blood, so they had the man advantage. You saw Hollow trying to be that aggressive player towards mid-map. Fortunately, he got caught. They killed him from Water Street. Priesta pushed all the way up on Water Street, catching Hollow in the back. It was a hard situation from them to be able to bounce back in there, but Atlanta FaZe able to tie it up 1-1.
Atlanta FaZe leveling the scoreline as we'll get to revisit OpTic now on their offense, and the nades have been solid. The nades have been heavy as TJ in back-to-back rounds, unfortunately, found for the first blood. Beezy finding himself in a very aggressive position, and it depends on whether or not Kenny spotted him. Of course, the door opens, so he has somewhat of an inclination that somebody could be here, although it was the explosive that did it. Beezy fires the shots, and all he really is trying to do is hold on to this line sight, be aware of what OG wants to do, and granted, this is nice for OpTic, but if you look toward the top side of your map, it's actually the bomb over at B. As Draza trying to be incredibly careful, Slasher does get found out, and there goes Kenny. So, 2v4 situation. FaZe were somewhat under the assumption that the push was over at A, when in reality, the Young Guns laughing their way over toward the opposite sides, but will they continue to laugh? Is the joke still going to continue? And Hollow,
Simp heard him.
and near flank from Simp definitely heard him kind of come down from the top of the train.
A big challenge coming up as we'll see the double come through from FaZe. Draws on the outskirts, takes down Priesta. Not a whole lot of time if you're FaZe. You got to break into this one soon. Have to peel back the layers that OpTic are trying to lay forth at the moment. As Major Maniac in a great position to BZ looking for where Draza could be. Manages to take him down, but where's Hollow at? Where is Hollow? Can he win the 1v1? And he cannot. He can't keep FaZe at bay as they'll be able to retake the site if BZ gets the defuse. Atlanta up 2-1.
That would have been an insane round if Hollow was able to take down Major Maniac there to force it into a 2v2. Fortunately, it was one bullet away, I guess, from killing him. Solved enough time for his teammates to push up, but BZ pushing through that water side, coming up behind Draza. With a 3v1 situation, you know where the last player is. One player just has to hop, the other two challenge. Good defensive round out of FaZe.
I'll be honest with you, got a little bit scary there for a moment. I thought we might see Draza and Hollow clutch the 2 versus 4. Unfortunately for them, though, not gonna happen. TJ 0-2 to start, and really hasn't had a whole lot of airtime, if you will, as he's been met with the last 2 first bloods. But when that man can clutch up, Study, he can make a world of difference, as we saw yesterday versus Chicago.
Yeah, getting that 4-piece at the very end, 5-5, Iceman, TJ Halley. You know, he's known for that nickname. His team needs him to step up here in this search and destroy because, like I said, him and Kenny yesterday were those X factors, making those mid-game adjustments, picking up the 2s, picking up the 3-piece when needed. So him sitting at a donut right now, he probably won't end with a donut because it is TJ and he's unbelievable with this game mode. But he definitely needs to step up before Atlanta FaZe grow too much of a lead for them to be hard to climb back in it.
Another first blood for FaZe. The Slasher and Draza combine for the bullets to take down Priesta. Takes 2 men to shut down someone like him, but kind of an opposite situation where the bomb is someone over toward A. A majority of the player base actually at B for Atlanta, as the bomb will pretty much be placed inside the exploded car. BZ, a big pick on the TJ. Meanwhile, Slasher even things up to a 2 versus 2, but Simp, the pool shark himself, decides to pull out the pistol for good measure. Silences Slasher about what a situation this is for Hollow. Has to go for the challenge, but Abizi's on the other end. They know exactly where Hollow's at. Tosses out the stun, and it's pretty much, how do you want to engage this, Hollow? You've been waiting all your life for a situation like this. And can he get it done here? A few early shots onto Simp. And has to reference back, where are these Atlanta players hiding? It's the Tiny Terrors. They've been in this spot many times, but can Hollow go big for the roster? Can he go big for the team? 20 seconds left. Tries to challenge onto a BZ, and the Tiny Terrors hold on.
I thought Atlanta FaZe played that round so slow, but it all came down to that 1v1 gunfight between Simp and Slasher in that pool hall. Simp was able to get a better of him with that pistol, hitting that headshot on the desk, and he's able to do it with both. That's why Simp is so deadly with that sniper, because his pistol shot is amazing. He has an unbelievable trigger finger, able to hit those shots onto Slasher, force it into a 2v1, and put himself in a great position right there to make sure he was watching over the bomb carrier, because Hollow only had one position, and that was to peek the bottom door. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to spot the guy who was planning, and then Atlanta FaZe played that perfectly in the 2v1.
And Sip says, welcome to my line sight. As OGLA, a big round for them, going down 4-1 versus this Atlanta team would definitely not be ideal. And Priesta, he's enjoying a croissant over here, just in front of a restaurant. The tacticals are out as he'll try to pretty much just get all cozy toward this statue. As TJ Halley again met with that sniper from Simp. OpTic, the forces are somewhat down for now, but they've got to rely on some late round heroics, and that could be coming in from someone like Kenny. However, Abizi on the flank finds the kill and backs away. And if you're OpTic, you're hurting right now, Study. You're in the back of the map as Celium will take down Hollow, and Major Maniac with the M4 will clean out OGLA.
Atlanta FaZe are just opening up with the first blood. You see Simp, there's no answer for him. He's just switching up spots, was able to get 2 on the round, and that sets back OGLA. If they have a sniper rifle that's going to try to counter him, that would be a huge part, but there's looking like no one is going to step up to the task. Simp is putting on an absolute clinic with the show, repositioning himself from middle map all the way to Water Street, picking up 2. Great round out of FaZe.
Great round out of FaZe, and this very well could be the round that sets them up for a 2-0 scoreline in this semifinal. Is FaZe looking to get to another 1-0? GLA trying to make it to their second ever grand final. They've done it before, finished second, but it's not good enough for them. They're Ultra counterparts holding on to that 8th seed for now as it's up at that losers bracket at champs. What this team has gone through, OpTic, with grabbing these young guys. It would mean a lot if they can start to make this comeback and get a little bit of momentum coming into that domination. A mode that they've been fantastic on really throughout the year. And especially with this new team, I should say. But nonetheless, a slow early beginning here for Atlanta as Priesta.
Another first blood.
Another first blood indeed. Major on the flank gets cut down. But the teamwork from FaZe is notable. They've got 20 seconds left. The slow pace could start to bite them. But they've made their way inside of A. Kenny finds the nice headshot in the meantime, and the sniper, it's still roaming through middle. Simp, I mean, get a lot of highlights to a number of different sniper players, but how about him? Simp comes from the top of pool hall and takes down another. Sensational.
Just when you think OGLA has the man advantage, Simp is easy to pick up one with the sniper. They were trying to isolate him out on the top of that back pool hall. You saw two players going right up mid-map. Simp hitting one of the most unbelievable shots with that jump shot there. Headshot, boom, bang, staying alive. Then one player on FaZe was able to win another gunfight in towards A. Last player was going for that flank. Simp gets great timing, currently sitting at 9-1 with the sniper. There's just no answer for him right now, man. He's completely dominating the map.
This is so scary. It's so scary, and Priesta finding himself on the flank, takes down 2. And just if you're OpTic in this situation, you're thinking, okay, let's just try to walk away with this offense. Let's just try to distance things. TJ takes down 2 in the meantime, but Priesta on the flank causing problems. As that will continue to be in the back of the mind for OpTic throughout the rest of this round and throughout the rest of this game. The question, though, how long will the game last? How long can OpTic hold on for?
Look at Simp on the flank. With the sniper pistol, doesn't even matter. He's coming around the backside. Is he going to be able to spot one? Spots the bomb play, going to be able to take down Hollow. Spots TJ! Now in a 3v1. Simp is a god.
Simp, an absolute master. Draza does take down Celium, but from one young gun to the next. See what Draza can try to make happen. The call out is there. Grabs the bomb, 10 seconds left, and he realizes he can't get to the other side. And Simp will clean things up. An absolute master in these last few rounds. From the sniper to the pistol, he could not be silenced, as he'll take down Draza for good measure. Like I said, from one young gun to the next, finishing off 12-1.
I'm pretty sure he just went on an 11 kill spree with a sniper pistol, and that push from Priesta right there on the very end of that last round was all on Simp. Simp with that sniper is installing fear into OpTic Gaming and anyone trying to watch that. Priesta knows it, was able to go right up middle map and get a free 2-piece, but you just see the confidence out of Simp. Usually with me as a sniper, I'm gonna wrap back and just try to challenge them head-on, headstrong. He immediately pushed straight through Water Street, flanks him with a sniper pistol, uses that dead silence in a perfect position, was able to get another 2 kills on the flank. Simp was just doing it all that map, and it's going to be a really hard task now for OpTic Gaming to try to fight back in this series.
Oh, man. Like I said, that has to hurt, right? You see a guy like Simp go off that way. It's difficult, man. It's difficult to try to deal with someone like him, especially, like I said, with that sniper, the way that he was playing it. It was absolutely unbelievable. As we'll go and take a look at our top 5 overall KDs, and of course, we can't ignore it. Simp right there in that 5th spot, a 1.17, but Really, we take a look at these top 5 KDs, and really it is kind of guys who have led the way for a number of different rosters. We got Octane at a 1.24 tied with Skies, and obviously you got to give some credit, but Octane at a 1.24 leading the entire league, especially on a team like Seattle. I mean, Study, how impressive is it for a guy like this to be going off considering the team performance?
Yeah, so Seattle's currently sitting in the 11th seed, and he's number 1 overall throughout the season in top KD. Octane is a god. Everything that he does on the map is just fluent. You saw him earlier with a 1v4 in Search and Destroy versus his old teammates. He's just unbelievable on the map, man. And it's unfortunate that his team didn't do as successful as he wanted to, but he's just a god.
He absolutely is. We got to give some love to Sam LaRue. Unfortunately, can't be here on CDL Sunday, but nonetheless, we're seeing some fantastic action. But domination on St. Petrograd will be our next map. Is it the final map of the series? We'll have to find out, as that'll be ready for you right after this break.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back. It's a bit of a delayed PlayStation instant reaction for you, but we're going to get there no matter what. I'm joined by the one and only Methods of the Toronto Ultra. Mate, first and foremost, congratulations. With that win, you've essentially secured yourself that top 8 position. Obviously, the series is still going on in front of us, but how do you feel, man? How are the boys doing after that big win?
Oh, dude, we're fired up. You know, a lot of preparation, a lot of rough patches we went through this year. Beginning of the year wasn't looking good, and now to at our home series be sitting in the finals and anticipating to play FaZe or OpTic, we're gassed, man. It's a good feeling, a lot of hard work, and the job's not done yet. So just looking forward to this final match.
Very right, the job is not done yet, and obviously we're sitting at phase 2 up in the series. You've been having a chance to watch this one. I mean, you had some choice words about what you were seeing in the in the pre-show, but yeah. How's it feel to be watching FaZe right now? I mean, obviously they're looking quite good. Did you expect it to be OGLA in the finals with you or not?
You know, just listen. The series is not over. The way I think about things is the stars would align if it was OpTic. It would be us versus OpTic for a spot in winners for champs, and that'd be an unreal match to watch. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't rooting for FaZe a little bit, just to relieve a little pressure, but at the same time, you know, fully confident going into either match. Two great teams battling it out. You know, I think OpTic is playing extraordinary this tournament, given that they're still a fairly new team with the two young guns who have been playing pretty good. So, just really don't care who we play. Just want to win this thing, you know?
Yeah, we're all about the win there, mate. Appreciate it again. And, of course, we do have that match coming up in just a moment. Mate, last question for you here before we get back into the game. How about that Bell Fiber, dude? You're looking
man.
Crisp.
Oh, it's good, dude. I mean, look at my background, look at my jersey. I mean, we're in an online league, man. You got to have the best internet, and I'm lucky to be repping them because, let me tell you, they give you the best internet. What I will say, though, is I've seen a few players talking about us being online jokes when they have no room to talk. You know, I'm not going to name any players, but there are some players are some players sitting there talking about our internet when there's definitely a clear correlation between their performance online compared to LAN. So definitely interesting to see that out of them, you know?
I like the sound of that, man. What everyone could do with an upgrade now and then. Methods, thank you so much, dude. Enjoy this last map, or maybe 2 more, who knows. Thank you so much for chatting again, dude. Congratulations. We're almost ready to roll back into this game, friends. Thank you so much. This was your PlayStation Instant Reaction. When we come back, domination, baby.
Thank you, brother.
Welcome back, friends, to the Toronto home series as we're sitting in our second semifinal, currently between the Atlanta FaZe and OpTic Gaming Los Angeles, as it's currently a 2-0 advantage right now for Atlanta. As we got to hear Methods kind of talk a little bit there from the Toronto Ultras perspective, saying, you know what, kind of rooting on the Atlanta FaZe, just kind of given the circumstances, given the current situation in terms of seeding for champs. If OpTic were to walk away with this series, it's going to have to be a reverse sweep, and if they did manage to do it, they would take over that 8th seed, and it would kind of depend on who would win that game in the finals. If you're Atlanta, you've already claimed the first seed, you're happy, but if you can walk away with this one, it would be Toronto who does solidify that winner's bracket for champs. Of course, it's myself, Lando, and Study on the call. Buddy, Dom St. Petro up next. It's going to be a rough ride for OpTic if they want to try to pull this off.
Oh, yeah, man. Looking at OpTic, looking at all their faces in those player camps, they just looked demoralized. There was no answer for Sip in that search and destroy, and they lost that in the blink of an eye in the 6-1. Someone is going to need to step up big in this domination if they're going to want to have a chance at coming back in this series. And as I say that, 4 go down for OpTic, and early B cap control is going to go in Atlanta FaZe's favor.
We talked about it. Someone has to go off for OGLA. Who do you think it needs to be?
For me, I think it definitely needs to be Slasher. You lead by example. You're the captain. You need to step up in this AR role versus players like Celium, versus players like Priesta. You know, Priesta had an unbelievable first map, but for Slasher, he needs to be that championship mode right now because it's all in the line right here, fighting for that 8th seed still.
Slasher having to lead the team, like you mentioned, by example. We'll see if OpTic can start to do it, as they've already had a little bit of an interesting beginning to this domination, as they'll go ahead and flip spawns and pretty much gain control over at A if they'd like, as FaZe, they'll kind of storm in on to C. Well, that's player 4, Priesta, already on the cap. That's going to be, kind of an interesting spot, interesting flip at this point in the game early. It looks like FaZe already going for mid.
Yeah, I'm looking at Simp. He's sitting in that top of kitchen area, just being a nuisance, staying alive, doing what he needs to do for his team. B is currently not capped, but they do have the lead. They're down by 5 points. There's no reason to panic right now. If you're Atlanta FaZe, you're basically getting all the kills in the kill feed. And Simp is in such a great position to just be that annoying player to keep him off that B flag.
Atlanta FaZe in the midst of this map. They're only 1 away from going to another grand final. Let's go to an Astro Gaming listening with the Atlanta FaZe.
Water.
Yeah, I'm going to hazard. I'm going to go hazard.
Pushing down water. Pushing down water. Dead. I'm B.
The tracks right now.
All dead.
Tracks. He's literally holding tracks.
I'm going to get
I
tracks.
don't see him on B. He's under me hazard.
You went now.
He's gonna hit water.
He's weak close hazard.
I don't see him tracks.
I don't see water dead.
He's on B, guys.
Need back water.
On B, there's 2 on B. Yeah, they might get it. I'm nading it.
Fine. Go to the recap.
Going weak on it. I'm dead. Front house. Graza. How bad is he now?
I'm dead.
Nice, big win. Let's do that.
What the hell? Bottom out.
Gaza's still on the has hop.
Top kitchen too. Top kitchen.
Has hop then.
Nice.
Cover kitchen, watch dead.
Nice, good win.
Nice. Oh, bottom out.
Get the blue and spawn apart.
I'm spawning tracks.
Bottom. 2 bottom.
One more top.
Nice. He's going top right. Your right side.
Front down. DJ top.
Pushing up tracks. Pushing up right side
Water
tracks.
and B.
One B done.
Nice. Water.
Water, one shot done.
Nice. Need water. Tyler.
Water done.
Nice. Try to push the water. Tyler, I'm looking over you.
I'm trying.
What's your shit, B?
I'm gonna get tracks.
Gotta get B, guys. Top over water. Water, dead.
Nice, I have your tracks. Alright, someone hop it. I have your top. Mid, dead.
Ow. Pushing water. He's on the fucking cop. Water. I'm putting pressure on. We gotta get B. I'm in. I want shot dead. Nice job.
Get to hear the communication there with FaZe as they're trying to do some work here late in this first half. Study, you like what you hear from Atlanta, considering the fact they are up 2-0?
Yeah, I like what I hear from their comms. They weren't panicking. They were just trying to call out fluently as much as they can. The only thing is, OpTic Gaming was set up so much better around that mid-map area, making sure that they kept control of this B flag. You see, the spawns are going to flip for Atlanta FaZe. And OpTic Gaming did such a good job just holding him, just building this lead. I was looking at Kenny. He was currently 0-6, and then he started to step it up in the kill feed. And I was mind-blown the fact that they had this lead, you know, with getting outslayed. But they're just growing this lead with the BC cap right now, with a minute 15 remaining, and Atlanta FaZe need to be able to answer quick.
That's for sure, man. Resilience being shown out of OGLA early, as they are, or rather, they are 3-0 on this mode so far throughout the weekend. It's definitely been one that they can rely on from time to time, as they've also got the best team KD at this event in this specific mode at a 1.10. Again, we talked about it at OGLA, if they could have gotten one of the first two, how big that would be, but at the very least, a solid first half of this domination. As Slasher, Kenny, TJ trying to help lead the way, lead by example for the young guns, as B falls back in the hands of FaZe, and that's going to be Simp, who actually does manage to sneak on through for the neutral. That's exactly what you want if you're FaZe kind of toward the stretch of this game, trying to take away as many points as you can, but as you do that, OGLA, they spawn up over toward A, they get the capture, and nonetheless, a solid ending coming in from FaZe, but OGLA not all that effective.
Yeah, the spawns are just flipping. Right off the beginning of the game, Atlanta FaZe opened it up with 4 kills, and it forced OpTic Gaming to spawn all the way behind them at that A flag. They were able to hold a 2 cap. They did not push for the 3. They were just trying to build that lead off of the 2, and that's exactly what they did. They give themselves a 21-point advantage going into the second half, and that's great for the OpTic side. You need them to start coming alive here and hopefully be able to close this map to extend this series.
A big moment for OGLA, and we got to talk about it too. So, like I said, this map is everything for OpTic. When we talk about champs, the difference between 8th and 9th, the winner's bracket opportunity for OGLA. They lose this, they finish off in 9th. His methods, all of Canada, fans of the Ultra all around the world, watching and hoping that FaZe can walk away with what would be their 10th sweep of the season. As they've already, either one of those teams was in fact OGLA back in Atlanta, but here we go, primed and ready, already off the start. Lead being spread everywhere, as that's going to be FaZe getting solid control here early. Hollow gets cut down toward the other side, and that is B instantly in the hands of Atlanta.
And this is where it could get scary. That was the cleanest B cap. It went with 4 down on the side of Atlanta FaZe. They were able to get basically team wipe them out, and now they have control of this top kitchen building. It's all about how long are they going to be able to stay alive here and just stall time to try to bring this lead back. They're only down 18 points, 4 minutes remaining. Obviously, if they hold a 2 cap, they eventually take the lead. We saw them play too aggressive on that first side, and the spawns are just going everywhere. I would like to see them just hold, play their positions right, just try to keep them off B, and eventually go for that lead swap.
You know, OpTic were pretty much locked in the back of their base. They have to do something to try and break on out, as the layers from FaZe are spread thick, my friend, and Simp toward the opposite end actually does get cut down, so Kenny wins a major flank toward that water street. Easy trying to pick up from where his team's left off. A nice long-range fight as Major Maniac now with the M4 trying to go big through the smoke. Manages to find one, but in the end, OGLA, they retake control back over B.
Yeah, it all starts with taking Celium out of their top kitchen window. Once they were able to get that, chained a couple kills. You saw Hollow push up from that water side, able to open it up with a 2-piece, forcing the players from Atlanta FaZe to spawn by that P1 hard point. Then they were able to secure that. Now I'm expecting OpTic to play it the same exact way. Not be too greedy for that C flag, just holding their mid-map control and picking up kills, gaining this lead.
we talk about a map like St. Petro, it's so easy for flags to pretty much bounce between either side, and you're just hoping for some good trades out of OGLA through middle right now. As a BZ, Simp, and Co., everybody from Atlanta just trying to get a little bit of a spark. And speaking of a spark, it's Priesta toward the back end, makes his way through Pool Hall, and they actually do get a nice squad spawn there from BZ as well. So they've got 2 toward the flank, and that is going to free up middle as a major player in Hollow does get taken toward the back end, and now it's an AC hold for Atlanta for the time. We'll see if they can lock it up as Celium's doing some work through middle. This very well could be a trip cap here, Study.
Yeah, I'm looking at Priesta. He's just staying alive at that A flag. As I say that, he gets taken down. But him just forcing the players from OGLA to wrap back and focus him as he was able to get at least 2 kills there. Stalls enough time for them to hopefully be able to push up on B, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You see OGLA spawning by that P1. This might get out of hand here soon. They're able to take him off of that B flag to make sure the points don't grow for the Atlanta FaZe's favor. But now, for Atlanta FaZe, only being down 11 points, it's looking like you're probably going to be able to get a 2 cap here. Staying alive at A, you have that player number 2, which is Celium, camping C. It's all about this B flag here. OpTic Gaming need to be able to cap a home flag and try to take this lead back, because Atlanta FaZe look like they're going to go for the trip cap.
Atlanta FaZe are locking it in again as the lead change is going to be here for FaZe. OpTic in a world of pain. A minute and 30, what looked like a fantastic start to this domination. What could be a start to a reverse sweep instantly starts to fade away. What can OGLA do? Here is Simp from the top window. Manages to drop Slasher. Can he find another as well? How about a nade? Unfortunately does miss the toss there as a few players from OGLA trying to do some work through the mid-map specifically. It's Draza. Can he be a major force as Simp continues to be a problem? That's going to be 3. How about 4? On to OpTic. Trying to go for the neutral at A and keeping OpTic in the back of their base. Granted, they will get control over A, and it's Draza who still is alive, but FaZe, they might have just done enough in that push. What can OpTic do to respond? The nades are out. OpTic, they know they have to get back on the B. They have to do something before this game is out of their hands. B still in the hands of FaZe, and OpTic, they might have just lost this. Can Slasher do something? Can OpTic do anything as they're coming back out of their base? And it's not looking likely. Atlanta, they turn up toward the end of this map. They're filling up the feed, and OGLA, they get reverse swept.
It all starts with Priesta going around that pool hall area, giving that team spawn for Atlanta FaZe to spawn at A, get that neutralization, force the players from OGLA to wrap back. The entire time when Priesta was finessing on that side, Celium, I'm pretty sure, did not die on that C flag. Him just holding that down, forcing the players from OGLA to spawn at P1. That was a beautiful adjustment out of FaZe to close out that map, and they end up winning the series 3-0, crushing OpTic LA's dreams of getting that A seed.
That's a big loss if you are OpTic. It's got to hurt. Like we said, the difference between 8th and 9th very well could be the ticket to a lot more cash, that's for sure. But FaZe pretty much looks solid all the way throughout. We kind of expected a close domination, just kind of given the record for OpTic so far throughout this event, as they were flawless leading up into this Dom St. Petro. But St. Petro seems to be the final resting place for OpTic, as we see it 3 times in Atlanta. They walk away with it in every single mode. A very solid performance coming in from FaZe, as that's now going to be, kind of their 6th home series final. And that's just kind of been the story for this group kind of throughout the entirety of the year. Study. It has been at times, kind of at the beginning of the season, they played fantastic, have a little bit of a dip at some point throughout the year, and this could be a return to glory for them.
I think Atlanta FaZe is the best team in the CDL. They are just the most well-rounded team. And usually when we talk about the top dogs in the league, we're talking about their AR players. But like what's so different with Atlanta FaZe, it's their sub players keeping up that pressure. You saw Simp sitting there at 24 and 14, just being so aggressive on the map, going for neutralizations on under flags, being so annoying in the top of their middle buildings, doing what he needs to do. And that's why this team is so scary, because they do not have a weakness. If you're going to try to beat this roster, I'm pretty sure they're flawless on the weekend. 9-0 map count. If you want to beat this roster, you basically have to outsmart them and outgun them, and that's such a difficult task to do.
It definitely is, as we've clearly been shown exactly why that's the case. We'll go and take a look at our CDL playoff picture for right now, as it is going to be OpTic Gaming officially now in that 9th position. Ultra right now in 8th, as they are guaranteed to be in the winner's bracket. Along with that, of course, FaZe, even before this victory, already had the #1 seed locked in, and they're just trying to make it even more impressive, Study, as they're going to be going for their 3rd championship now versus the Toronto Ultra. The home team making it as far as they did. You got to give some love. You got to give some support to the Ultra. As like I said, they've been putting on one heck of a show, right? They kind of start things off in a very solid way, taking down OGLA, taking down the Huntsmen, now the Empire. Can they do it versus FaZe? It's going to be a tough ask. And again, like we've been discussing, FaZe, they have yet to lose a map coming into the grand final. This roster, as you labeled it, Study, could be the very best team in the CDL. They're looking like it.
Yeah, man, I cannot wait to see the battle between Cammy and Simp with those sniper rifles. Simp, I'm pretty sure, just set the record with a 12-0 KD on that search and destroy with the sniper pistol, flanking, do whatever he wants. Now, if Ultra are going to want a chance at beating Atlanta FaZe, they need to come out firing out the gates, winning that first hard point, and then hopefully keeping that search and destroy close, because Atlanta FaZe, the way that they just beat OpTic LA 6-1, that was dominant.
It was, man. It was the definition of dominance. That's without question. As really the call for FaZe is, can they do it again, right? Can they have the return to glory, if you will? But solid win for FaZe. OGLA, they are knocked out, as now it is time for our grand finals to come up soon. But before we get there, it's our PlayStation Instant Reaction. It's Lottie with Simp. We'll be right back with that after this.